In this video, we'll walk you through how to set up a managed PostgreSQL database in Azure and use it to deploy a new instance of deDup. It's a simple process, and by the end, you'll have everything up and running smoothly. To get started, go to portal.azure.com and search for Azure Database for PostgreSQL Flexible Server. Once it shows up, click on Create to begin setting up your server. First, in the Resource Group field, choose the group where you want the server to live. Then, under Server Details, give your server a name and select the region that works best for you. Next, head over to the Compute and Storage section. Here, you can customize the server's resources depending on your client's needs. For this demo, we'll keep it simple and choose a lightweight configuration. Once done, hit Save. In the Authentication section, you have the option to enable Microsoft Intra and set the admin email. But you'll also need to enable PostgreSQL authentication since deDup requires it. Here, you'll need to set a username and password for your database admin. Make sure to choose a simple, easy-to-remember username. This will be used later in the database connection URL, so avoid anything too long or complex. It'll save you time and help avoid mistakes during the deployment step. Now, move to the Networking tab. Make sure to check Allow Public Access. Then click on Review and Create to go over all your settings. Here you can double-check that everything looks correct, especially your region, authentication settings, and resource configuration. If all looks good, go ahead and click Create to start the deployment. Now all we need to do is wait a few moments for the server to be created. Azure will handle the setup in the background. Sometimes it might take a little longer, so don't worry if it's not instant. Just give it a bit of time. Once it's ready, we can move on to the next step. After the managed database is up and running and you're able to access it, it's time to connect it to a deDup deployment. Click on the server you just created, and in the left-hand menu, go to Databases. Here, click Add to create a new database and give it a name. This is especially useful when setting up a separate deployment for a new client. After the new database is created, switch to the Connect tab and copy the URL under the JDBC field. Be sure to take note of the database name at the end of the URL. We'll need that soon. Now head over to the Azure Marketplace and search for deDup. For this example, we'll choose the paid plan free trial, but the setup is the same for any paid plan. Set up the SharePoint application as you normally would, following the usual steps for your environment and needs. Then, under Application Settings, after choosing the appropriate VM size for your deployment, make sure to check the box for Use Managed Database. This tells deDup to connect to the PostgreSQL server we just created. Now, paste the JDBC URL you copied earlier into the corresponding field. Here's an important step. After pasting the URL, take a moment to double-check it. You also need to update the database name at the end of the URL to match the exact name of the database you just created, especially if you used a custom name during setup. And don't forget, you'll also need to include the admin username and password you set earlier when creating the server. These credentials are essential for deDup to establish a secure connection to the database, so make sure they're correct and up to date. With the database connection set up, all that's left is to continue with the usual deDup configuration steps, just like in any standard deployment. Follow the remaining prompts, review your settings one more time, and when everything looks good, go ahead and click Create. And that's it. You've now deployed deDup using a managed PostgreSQL database on Azure. If you run into any issues or just want a bit of help, feel free to reach out to us via email. We're always happy to assist.